Hello and welcome to this edition of the Podium, which is coming to you live from the Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation with me, Asmiba. We start with a quote of the day, which comes from Ramesh, who is an Indian economist, and it says, there never is a good time for tough decisions. There will always be an election or something else. You have to pick courage and do it. Governance is about taking tough, even unpopular decisions. Coming up in today's edition of the program, we shall be talking to the APC and the Sierra Leone People's Party on their preparations for Tuesday's runoff as the country prepares for that election. You can send your text messages to the number 0883733504. 0883733504 is the number you can send your text messages to. The program is Podium. The number you can send your messages to is 0883733504. Well, less than 4 days more to the presidential runoff. The Sierra Leone People's Party and the All People's Congress are busy canvassing support through the length and breadth of the country to convince voters on their manifestos as official campaign ends on Sunday. Well, the first round of election, both parties did not get the 55% threshold. Well, since the second round of campaign began, some communities have witnessed some skirmishes, also hate messages and tribal sentiments are being whipped up by politicians. Well, the public has called on politicians to decry and condemn some of these worrying trends. Well, in the studio today, we have Ibrahim Sano, who is the outreach coordinator of SLPP campaign. We're also expecting Alaji Dr. Alpha Kano, who is the spokesperson for the APC campaign team. He will join us shortly. But let me come to you, Ibrahim Sano. On Tuesday, Sierra Leoneans will be going to the polls again for a second time. As a party, are you fully ready now?
To say we are ready, that's an understatement. But I'll tell you, we are prepared. At least we have manifested that during the first rounds of the elections. And we are very much prepared. The people are in high spirit. You can sense this all around. We just don't believe in the usual rabble rousing by our opposite people, where you go around, you pay people, you give people money, you give them t-shirts, you try to canvass them, you know, try to see how you can probably somehow under the guise of bribing them to come out for, you know, we don't believe in that. We have run a very successful campaign. That's why during the 2 weeks break that was given us for the runoff, we went back to the drawing board. We had to strategize, so we had to actually go out to places where we think we have the potential to get more votes, which we have done. We actually declined from doing any tribal or hate speech. Of course, the media people will attest to that because they've been following our campaigns. Brigadier Bio has emphatically reiterated that this country should be united, and we are one country, one people, and therefore we should outlive the scourge of tribalism and other things that are being perpetuated by the APC government.
Well, if you talk to SLP supporters, they will say they are not campaigning on the issue of tribe or region. If you talk to the APC also, they will say the same. So who is saying what now?
Well, it's left with the public and you, the fourth estate, to judge. But your reporters,
in media, we cannot judge.
Well, you can, because
it's not
it's not a business to judge. But in the sense, the public out there, you inform them, because your reporters right across the country have been following the campaigns of the political parties. So we are on record. Brigadier Bio is on record saying that this country has been divided on tribal and regional lines. I mean, that can be vividly seen from the employments being done by the APC. I mean, it's not even a hidden secret. You know, check from their party structure. The chairman leader is from the north. The secretary general is from the north. The publicity secretary is from the north. You name them. Unlike the Sierra Leone People's Party, our chairman leader, Dr. Prince Alex Harding, is from the south. The deputy chairman leader is Omar Odumbuya Limba from Kamakwe axis. The secretary general is Kuranko, Omar Napoleon Kuruma. So you go down. And we are also on record as a party to have created or to have established or accounted for a very first cohesive, inclusive government with a national flavor. During the then governance of the late President Alhaji Ahmad Tijan Kaba, we saw ministers with high-profile ministerial positions who are from the north. The likes of Dr. Kadi Sisi, the likes of Dr. Alpha Uri, Alpha Timbo. We had even Dr. Jalo from Kabbalah. So it was a government of national unity. And no doubt why the SLPP was so successful. Because even Dr. Samuel Kaba served in the SLPP government as a then financial secretary. The brother of President Anas Bai Kuruma was working at NAXA. He also served in the SLPP government with a senior directorate position. So we believe in national unity. We believe in cohesive governance. And that's why we always succeed. Because you cannot have monopoly over knowledge. You need all shades to be represented. And that's the only way. Equity distribution of state resources is the only way you can count on good governance.
I mean, 2 weeks, I know 2 weeks is not enough to do the campaigns that the APC and the SLP would have wanted to do. But what new strategies, what did you employ this time around, these 2 weeks that NEC gave?
Well, our strategies are meant for in-house discussion. But talking about what we did or what we've been doing is we realized that we needed, first of all, to say thanks to the people, because they have, they came out in their number and mass to vote for the retired brigadier and the SLPP because they believe in its values, they believe in its philosophy. Ask me, the motto of our party is really country first. The slogan is one country, one people. And so we had to go back to communities and really say thanks and look at the unfortunate incident that happened at Kanigo. The honorable elect Tawa Ibrahim Contek, commonly called as Tawa, went on a thank you tour during based on the NEC calendar that was given for the SLPP. And he went to the Kanigo community. The Mami Queen and other people who were there, the thugs, they attacked him. They even injured him in his head. I personally had to just intervene and took him to Trinity Hospital. That was really unfortunate. We cannot degenerate this country to that. And so we have basically won the trust of the people. That I would say, because the votes are just mere example. And don't be surprised for this runoff. The votes for the Sierra Leone People's Party and the retired Brigadier Julius Badabiu is going to be exponentially increased, because the people now believed in us that indeed we're a party of one country, one people. They believe in our philosophy, and we have a message, and that message is simple: is education for all. Just like the Firestone people used to sing, "Mama, Papa, send you picking at school for go land, education sweet." So we want that Mami Balu selling at Dovecourt. We want Yebu Osi Asatu selling at Abacha. To be proud in the next years to come. To live with hope that indeed my son or my daughter is now going to school and it's free education. Okay. So in the coming years, this son or this daughter will actually go to college, and he or she will have to help me from the streets.
During this one of the SLPP and the APC, are still looking forward to, looked forward to having the endorsement of, for instance, NGC. But to the surprise of many, NGC did not endorse any party. I mean, as a party, their supporters are at liberty to choose whichever party they want to choose. What do you make of Dr. Yumkela's or NGC stance not to endorse the APC or the SLP?
Well, I in the first place, I personally respect the stance of the NGC, because it's no hidden secret. During the course of the presidential debate, of course, we heard Kamarimba and the others referring to Dr. Yumkela and Brigadier Italbi respectively as SLPP1 and SLPP2. So to say NGC does not really take any stance, we can understand. But the public is out there to judge that indeed most of the NGC people, I would say emphatically that 80 to 85% of the NGC people are going to vote SLPP, because most of them were SLPP in the first place. And so if there is a presidential runoff...
But NGC had most of its votes in the APC stronghold in Gambia in the north. In the areas, for instance, in the southeast, where some of the founding members of NGC hail from, where they were members of the SLPP, the NGC was unable to come out with votes. Even a video quoting the former Vice President, Joe Demby, said he was shocked, he was surprised.
Yeah.
The Southeast did not vote for NGC.
I think you have to go back to history and check in the first place how the voting pattern of this country has been, especially in the areas we're talking about the north. NGC had majority of their votes in Gambia. And Gambia, the areas that they had their votes predominantly are the areas occupied by the Sosos. And these have been the traditional SLPP supporters. In the 2002, when we had the late President Kabak contesting, we won those seats in Gambia, and we even won the local council elections, the very first set of local council elections. We won there in the person of Mr. Usman Fofana, a retired police, who now happened to have been the NGC chairperson for Gambia, and he was also the SLPP chairperson for Gambia. So to say they had most of their votes in the stronghold.
So are you saying the people of Gambia, the Susus, voted on tribal lines by voting for Dr. Kande?
Well, I will not be in a position to say that. However, I will say that the people that voted for Dr. Yomkela in Gambia have been SLPP. And mind you, in 2002, SLPP had seats in Gambia. Even in 2007.
But in 2018, they voted for their son, Dr.
Yes,
Yumkela.
for their son.
In the runoff, Dr. Yumkela would not be on the ballot. The ballot is going
so
to have...
they will be left with no choice but to come back home.
Well, I mean, they were very bitter. They were disgruntled because of the way their son or their brother was treated.
Well,
Dr. Kande Yumkela. Do you think they have buried that grudge?
You cannot really quantify the magnitude of their so-called bitterness.
Do you say
coming.
that is so-called?
Yes, because as a matter of fact, the NGC sees the SLPP as a sister party. Dr. Yumkela, I just now I tried to reflect your memory on the presidential debate that we had, wherein the NGC was referred to as SLPP 2 and the SLPP as SLPP 1.
But NGC has never referred to itself as SLPP 2.
Yes, so the public, when the people, even Kamarimba, I'm quoting him directly, he referred to NGC as SLPP 2. And so what I'm trying to say here is the fact is the fact. Those that left SLPP, majority of NGC, 90% of those that constitute NGC came from SLPP. So as a result, these people will not vote APC. For example, the likes of IJ Kaba, the likes of McLean Gabo, the likes of Swalio Kuroma, the likes of Andrew Kaili.
So has IJ come out to say...
No, she does not really need to come out. But I'm just trying to let you know that the Sosos in the Gambia, like the areas like Kichon, Beledixin, Kukuna, Rokupa, these have been SLPP strongholds. But when they had their own son, listen, politics, I mean, ask me, most of our politicians align themselves with their areas of origin. So as long as they are actually kind of acquiesced with their people, they are acculturated.
Well, I will not say to debunk, but to challenge that your argument, let me take you back to 2002, when Charles Magai supported the APC during the 2007 runoff. His votes came from the Southeast, which is predominantly an SLPP stronghold. But when they went to the runoff, those people who were seen as SLPP sympathizers and SLPP voters, they voted for the APC. So meaning, it is also likely that the people of Gambia, whom you said we are SLPP, but now NGC, they also have the tendency not to vote for the
APC.
For the SLPP.
No, for the APC.
Now, really, my premise based on what happened in 2007.
The analogy you are making is the people.
No, you are saying because the Gambia people used to be SLPP, so they can vote for the SLPP now. But I also said in 2007, the Southeast people voted for the SLPP. But when they went to run off with the APC, because of Charles Magai, when he said he was supporting the APC, the Southeasterners who voted for SLPP
continue voting for the APC. So that shows
so
that shows your analogy you've made has got some element of truth, but you probably need to for this context it will not really suffice. However, the people voted for APC then because Charles Magai said they should vote APC, and then they believed in him, they liked him, they loved him, so they followed him. In this context, it's not applicable. Dr. Yunkela said, let the people vote their conscience. Let them continue to vote for change and put an end to corruption and put an end to impunity. If you can listen to his BBC interview, he actually said that he is still the same Dr. Yunkela that wants change, and he's still asking that the people will vote for change.
Well,
I'm coming, ask me.
Has accused the APC and the SLPP of being the two governments that are responsible for the state of affairs in Sierra Leone.
Yes.
NGC referred to the APC and the SLP as the Alassane and the Alusane.
Yes.
So meaning, from the NGC's point of view, the APC is as fault as the SLPP.
Okay, well, I will not really told that line with you entirely, but all I'm trying to let you know is...
Is that not what NGC believes?
No, allow me. The NGC believes in change. They have been campaigning for change.
To change the APC and the SLPP?
I'm coming, not entirely. The word change. And Dr. Yunkela's interview emphasized the word change and put an end to corruption.
Did he say change APC?
Well, what you are adding there actually was not part of his interview. But I'm trying.
No, I'm asking.
No,
I'm asking.
but basically he inferred. If you're talking about change, the SLPP is not the current government in governance. It's the APC that forms the current government. So if you're talking about change, if I come to SLBC, assuming is the Director General, and I say, okay, I have been appointed as the new person to actually oversee the affairs of SLBC, I want change. From the leadership downwards, I want change. I'm inferring basically that what? That we must start with change, but you cannot expect my change to reflect on someone who is not active in governance.
No, but the aim of the NGC was to sweep, is still to sweep the APC and the SLPP out of the political realm.
Let me just allay your fears.
Or do you think that is a far-fetched something? Let me
allay your fears with the song the NGC people sang for us yesterday at Brookfields. And I'll even mention his name because he was there. He declared for us. People like Squire. Squire has been a very long-serving SLPP chairperson at the Brookfields community. For one reason or the other, Squire left for the NGC. But with the statement made by Dr. Yunkela, he now said he's coming back home. And yesterday, to our amazement, he had a very big meeting. And I was there together with Dr. Ali Kaba. And how was this song they sang? NGC, SLPP, Nawa. NGC, SLPP, Nawa, no. So meaning, the NGC was born out of the SLPP. And if we have actually reached this climax, there is no point turning back on the SLPP.
So is NGC now become a proxy for the APC and the SLPP? Because the APC also say
NGC is
the APC
SLPP.
is also say they are also going to have their own share out of the NGC.
Well, their own share. Well, whether they're going to have their own share or not, but we are going to have the lion's share. Because traditionally, I'm trying to let you understand, traditionally, most of the people, 85% of the people that voted NGC came from SLPP. I'm trying to let you understand, even from Kabbalah, Fode Maklindabo, Dennis Bright, all of these people, they have served as people, they have served in high positions in the SLPP. So they left for the NGC, and they will have no choice to vote, but to vote for the SLPP. At least for one reason or the other. They came to prominence by the SLPP.
So now let's go to another one, the C4C. So is the C4C like the NGC for the
SLPP, the APC? Mm-hmm. Who says C4C is going to APC?
No, I'm asking.
Anyways, in fact,
so because you said NGC was born out of the SLPP.
Yes.
So can that be said also for the C4C, because the person who is the flag bearer of the C4C was also a strong member in the APC?
Well, yes, to some extent, yes. But like I said, in this context, it will also not be applicable for one reason, because SLPP or retired Brigadier BU and Dr. Kande Yunkela have never had any style relationship. They've had a congenial and cordial relationship.
Dr. Yunkela does not say so.
Well, I'm letting you to know now.
No, but I mean, I have interviewed Dr. Yunkela in this same
when you interviewed him,
he
what
made
did
some
he say
allegations
against Madabio?
Of course.
In person?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, well, that's an aside. But I'll let you know if you now want to draw a nexus between let's say the maltreatment, if I can put it that way, or the bad treatment that was done to Dr. Yunkela as compared to the one that was done to Chief Samsumana. I mean, they are far apart. Here is a party, the APC. They had to forcefully and illegally sack an elected vice president. His own elder sister was also maltreated. She was locked into excuse me. She was locked into a car from Kono to Podium Road. His own people in Kono were marginalized, were maltreated, and come to think of it, you cannot compare those two. So for argument's sake, let's even agree that indeed Kande Onkela must have had his own issues with the SLPP, but they are not as grave as the one with the NGC, as the one with Samsumana. So, in a matter of fact, the NGC and the C4C are left with no choice but to come to the SLPP. Even when Dr. Yunkela, even during the course of the debate, you had him referring to Brigadier Bio as his brother, not so? I guess the whole public saw that one. They heard him. He was referring to Brigadier Bio, he said, like my brother said, during the course of the debate. So that tells you there has been no kind of bad blood or bad barrier between them. The relationship has been cordial and is still cordial.
Okay. Well, we are going for a short break. The program is a Podium coming to you from Freetown. Send your message to the number 0883735504. Including your messages which you can send to 0883735504. Program is every day. Podium brings to you issues that you will not see on other channels. Rely on Podium for the latest news.
And there's nobody to count your tears. Just remember, no matter where you are, Allah knows. Allah knows. When you're carrying a monster load and you wonder how far you can go, with every step on that road that you take, Allah knows. Allah knows. No matter what inside or out, there's one thing of which there's no doubt. Allah knows. Allah knows. And whatever lies in the heavens and the heavens, every star in this whole universe, Allah knows. Allah knows. When you find that special someone, feel your whole life has barely begun. You can walk on the moon, shout it to everyone. Allah knows. Allah knows. When you gaze with love in your eyes, catch a glimpse of paradise, and you see your child take the first breath of life. Allah knows. Allah knows. When you lose someone close to your heart, see your whole world fall apart, and you try to go on, but it seems so hard. Allah knows, Allah knows. You see, we all have a path to choose. Through the valleys and hills we go, with the ups and the downs, never fret, never frown. Allah knows, Allah knows. No matter what, inside or out, there's one thing of which there's no doubt. Allah knows, Allah knows. And whatever lies in the heavens and the earth, every star in this whole universe, Allah knows, Allah knows. 'Cause no matter what, inside or out, there's one thing of which there's no doubt. Allah knows, Allah knows. And whatever lies in the heavens and the earth, every star in this whole universe, Allah knows, Allah knows. Every grain of sand in every desert land, He knows. Every shade of palm, every closed hand, He knows. Every sparkling tear on every eyelash, He knows. Every
Well, we are back with the program Podium, which is coming to you live from Freetown, from the Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation with me, Asking. Well, let's go to another issue. The Inspector General of Police, Dr. Richard Mwegbe, has held talks with the Market Women Association of Sierra Leone and the Women's Situation Room. Princess Gibson witnessed the talks at the police headquarters, and she now reports.
The first round of election has seen the emergence of hate speech and tribal sentiment resulting to violent attacks, destruction of market tables and wares in different parts of the country. This has resulted to concerns by various groups led by the Market Women's Association, Sierra Leone, directed to the Sierra Leone Police.
IG, sir, we the women of Sierra Leone are deeply concerned about the use of tribalism during campaigns, which is fueling hate speech, regionalism, arson attack, robbery, burning of vehicles, destruction of market stalls and wares across our country. Papa, the reason why we put here, now we woman them, now we they feel the pain. And this melee, we don't ask for one.
The Inspector General of Police maintained that the Sierra Leone Police exists for the peace of Sierra Leone.
Make her assure that the Sierra Leone Police, we know we exist for let Sierra Leone be peaceful. That now we come mandate in addition to whatever we do for protect life and property, for make sure this country is peaceful. And for the election, we don't say the political party them Boku, 17 of them, 16 don't feel presidential candidates and running mate. And they all together would now depend on the Sierra Leone Police for provide the security. That we are committed to, but with a caveat. As I always they tell me officer them across the country, across the force, that everybody they look up to the people of Sierra Leone, the international community, and all the 17 political parties. We for serve everybody, every political party fairly, impartially, professionally, will not for take partisan position at all.
He said they have increased police profile due to the present concerns around hate speech and tribal sentiment. The Inspector General of Police noted that he cannot compromise the security of the state for few people.
Because I get a duty for protecting them. I cannot compromise the security of this nation, saving for something million for just a handful of personal interest. I will not do it.
Thank you.
I will not do it. Now I tell me officers, this election, everybody remain a policeman. Leave the politics to the politicians.
Women call for a halt in tribal sentiments and hate speeches. Princess Gibson, SLBC News.
Well, thanks to Princess Gibson for that report. As the country braces itself for next week's runoff, former councillor and parliamentary candidates of the NGC, ADP, CDP, C4C and PMDC in Port districts have declared for the People's Congress, while the APC have been canvassing support from other parties, especially in its stronghold of Port districts. Here's the report. On Wednesday, the NGC flag bearer, Dr. Kande Yumkela, broke his silence, but what was surprising to some people was that Mr. Yumkela did not throw his support to either party, but gave his supporters the free hand to choose who they want to vote for during the runoff. The NGC and ADP were able to make impact in the northern region, which is one of the strongholds of the All People's Congress. Had they won the election, these former councillor and member of parliamentary candidates, plus mayoral candidates also, would have represented the SLPP, NGC, C4C, CDP, and PMDC in Port Districts Council and the Parliament in Freetown. Though they did not get it, they have now thrown their weight behind the All People's Congress. Some of these NGC, ADP and C4C members, among others, have just come home again, as APC was their former party. Hundreds of former supporters came from the nook and cranny of Port Loko to pledge their support to the party. The deputy chairman of the APC Port Loko, Ali Suma, has been working behind the scene to bring to their fold these supporters of other political parties. Mr. Suma welcomed the returnees and assured them that if the APC wins the election, they will not be forgotten. Ali Suma said the APC is a family and appealed to them to forget about what has happened in the past and work for the party's victory.
The second round can win the third round. And it don't left between Dr. Samuel Kamara and Julius Madabiu. We believe in dialogue. We believe in for talk to people. There see reasons why Samuel Kamara that the person when we will take this country forward. We thought of it instead of faith, violence, we forgot our brothers and sisters them. What we feel aggrieved. Go to NGC, SLPP, and other parties them. Now that it already the stage for put Mama Salon first, then we call her.
He said they are part of the APC family and appealed to them to work for the APC. Honorable Kombo Kamara praised Ali Suma for working hard to get back those who had left, saying the APC is a grassroots party where everyone matters.
Some they feel neglected. They say today, local family, some never some say, let us make results today and get an answer for March 27 and win this election.
Honorable Kamara called on the supporters to work for the party's victory on Tuesday. Former flag bearer aspirant of APC Mahmoud Tarawali said the election of Ali Suma as deputy chairman of APC Port Loko district has borne fruits for the party. Mahmoud Tarawali said those who have joined them will surely help the APC to achieve victory. Mr. Tarawali said during the second round, the party has corrected its mistakes and is ready to win the election.
And at this minute, we the APC say no violence. No violence because believe say we get the numbers for win the elections. The APC get the numbers for win the elections. Especially so where we brothers and the other parties don't can join we. I want to know how SFP go win. I want to know how they go win. The assurance for Gilna and send a strong message all over is that this election, the one they will attempts for thief, they're not going to thief again. No more. These are the elections where people they go vote, go respect the votes of the people, votes will be counted, and the one will get the highest votes will win. And obviously, it's going to be Dr. Samura Kamara.
Charles Benson is one of the staunch supporters of NGC in Potloko. Him, together with his councillor and parliamentary aspirants, declared for the APC and assured them of their votes come Tuesday.
On behalf of NGC for the entire Capital of Kingdom, with the price of presidency 076 and 077. All People's Congress will rest assured. We will not get NGC and we will support you to ensure that we will get state out. If we are tired today, we will give support to APC because as I tell you earlier, say now big brother there. Anyway, when one man me one daddy brother and friends, then call one back. Okay, all the brother are the same party.
This ADP supporter also expressed excitement to support the APC during the runoff. As they joined the APC, the party, no doubt, is happy to get back these supporters whom it had lost to other parties, as politics, they say, is a game of number. Potloko is a backyard of the APC, but the party's victory was challenged by the emergence of NGC and ADP. These declarations will give the APC a sigh of relief. Well, we are back with the program Podium, which is coming to you from Freetown, where we've been joined by Alhaji Alpha Kanu, who is the campaign spokesperson for the All People's Congress. Welcome, Alhaji Alpha Kanu.
Thank you very much, Asmi.
On Tuesday, Sierra will be going to the polls again for the second time to elect their new president. And during the first round, your party came second. Have you learned from your mistakes? Have you corrected the places where you think you went wrong as a party?
Thank you very much. As you are aware, there is a conversation going on. There is a debate going on. There are allegations flying around that the conduct of the elections, though they were peaceful, credibility itself is suspect. And as such, there have been several approaches from our party raising concerns about certain aspects of the electoral process. There has been a letter that I have read from retired Brigadier Julius Malabi on behalf of the SLP and his behalf, complaining about similar things to NEC. And I also know that apart from the usual cacophony of complaints people make around town, there's also been an approach to the Supreme Court by one lawyer who is a citizen of Sierra Leone, who is asking for certain remedies to be made before the next round of elections. So we know that yes, the results came out, but like a flag bearer and presidential candidate said yesterday in faraway Batkano, said the results came out, but those don't reflect our results. Those are not our results. Because up till today, they are still finding caches of boxes, ballot boxes in various areas, in villages, in secluded areas that are coming out now, that should have been counted and that not been counted. How do you explain the cancellation of 229 boxes, most of them coming from our own areas? How do you explain the invalidity number of voters that came forth in the elections, 139,000, beaten only by Honorable now, Dr. Alhaji Kande Umkela, of his 134,000. They're even higher than the votes obtained by the fourth running party, the C4C, which had 87,000. The cancellations, 139,000. Sorry, the invalid votes, 139,000. So for us, we believe that these elections, for us, the results are a reality check.
So you are going to the runoff with less confidence over NEC?
A lot more confidence. A lot more confidence because we've written to them and they have said that yes, they will put in place measures that will improve those areas that we have had concerns with. So yes, our confidence is a lot higher than it was when we started. And also, we now know that the elections is, by the grace of God, for Dr. Samura Kamara to run away with it. Because we are going in there with the advantage that our own areas at the time, the turnout, voter turnout at the time, so they were 65%. When I say our own areas, every party has its own stronghold. The Republicans in America have their stronghold, the Democrats have their stronghold, so do the Conservatives in England, and also the Labour. So you have areas that you expect, they will always return Labour, they will always return APC. And those areas came out with 65% turnout, while in the SLPP areas, they've almost reached their ceilings, the 87% turnout, and about 90% of those who turned out voted for their presidential candidate. So I'll say that they have more or less reached the top of the parabola because their own rise in politics is not meteoric, it's parabolic. It's like when you throw a stone up, it runs against gravity until the velocity stops at zero and then starts falling. So they've reached the point, they are now at velocity zero and they're going down. We're going in there with the same meteoric velocity that we started. And we're going to reach.
I mean, well, you said you refer to it as parabola, but they are saying they are going to this one of very confident because they led the first rounds of polls.
Yes, they had a Pyrrhic victory, as I said before, yeah. And this is because of all of these so-called alleged malpractices.
I say it's not a meritorious victory?
It cannot be. It cannot be when the elections are so contested. Even by they also contested the results. We contested the results. So we don't even know what the real issue is. The best a court, if we have gone to court, the best a court can do for us is to say go back and do the elections. But NEC has already said, okay, we'll do the elections anyway. So as far as we are concerned, that is a rerun of the elections. And we are going to stand out there and make sure that we protect our votes. We make sure that our votes count and vote of everybody is counted. And it is announced appropriately. That is why it is important that we go back to basics. As in the past, as of 1996 to 2002 and 7 and 12, elections results are announced at the polling stations instantly, almost just about an hour or two after polling closed. And then they are posted on the wall. And sometimes they stay there for about 3 months. You can go and cross-check. So this is what we are going to make sure that it is done again properly. And then when we get our own duplicates from our agents, we have our own, what we call a collation center that will give us what is normally referred to as exit polls.
This week, President Koma met with the commissioner of NEC, the chairman of NEC, and his other commissioners. The opposition said that was an intimidation tactics by no less a person than President Koma. They said the president is intimidating the NEC chairman.
President Kuruma is President Kuruma of Sierra Leone until a new president is sworn in. The conduct of elections and the activity of every citizen in Sierra Leone, the safety and security, the welfare of every Sierra Leonean is on his desk. The buck stops there. So when there are issues that border on national security and national confidence and integrity of our elections process, it is incumbent upon the sitting president to actually wade in and ask why did this happen. And he had to do that because not only did the APC complain, but the SLPP also complained. And as a father figure, he must ask, what's the matter? So he's trying to mediate.
But he's the chairman and leader of the APC.
Yes, he's also the president of Sierra Leone. So he wore the hat of the presidency of Sierra Leone, not the chairman and leader. At the moment, the person who is at the forefront of the carriage of the electoral process and the politics of the APC is Dr. Samura Kamara. That's the one we're following. He's more or less passed the baton to him from the moment he was nominated as the candidate for the APC. So he's the one that is heading for that. For at the moment now, it is an electoral process between two candidates and two parties. So he, as president, he has to come in, especially when everybody, including the C4C, the NGC and other parties also made overtures that they are not happy with the way the results are counted and the way that boxes
before you came in, Ibrahim Sana was talking about, I asked him about the endorsement that the parties have been looking forward to, the APC and the SLPP, and we started with the NGC, for instance. Surprisingly, the NGC said they will not support any of the two parties, but their supporters have the liberty to choose whichever party they want. And he said they are confident that they are going to get majority of the NGC voters, because, for instance, in Cambia, where Dr. Yumkela hails from, where NGC got lots of their votes, he said those people were SLPP, and they are confident that they will go home. They will go to the SLPP during the second round. Does that make you worry as a party?
Those people who voted for Dr. Kande Yumkela, in Cambia especially, they voted in 2012. They voted in 2007. But the SLPP came out in 2007 with only 1 seat in Cambia. And in 2012 with 0 seats. So if those people were SLPP, how come they didn't have any seats there? So these people voted for Dr. Kande Yumkela because he was one of theirs. And now that he's not there, they will go back to the party that they know. And I know that all of those people will go back to the APC.
They know two parties. They know the SLPP, they know the APC.
But I've just given you the statistics. How come they didn't win seats in 2012? If those people were SLPP. They were not. They voted for the APC. And they're very happy with the fact that the APC is improving the lives of people in Cambia. We built the road.
Are you comfortable? Are you comfortable with the NGC stance that they
Sorry?
did? Are you comfortable with NGC stance that they didn't endorse you or the SLPP?
Politics is a science, it's not an art. That man, the Dr. Kande Yumkela, who is the de facto leader of the NGC now, must have done his political analysis based on scientific facts, not on an artist's impression of what he thinks the Sierra Leone would look like after the elections. Well, he's looked at it and I saw that, listen, I have come from the SLPP. My people come from the APC. If I am to go to the SLPP today, the people may not follow me. I may stand hollow. If I go to the APC and say I will support the APC, then I will be making more enemies than I have in the SLPP. So for me, let me stay neutral and leave the people to go back to where they're used to. In other words, saying go back to what you know, the APC. So for me, I know that he did a political, in-depth, algorithmic analysis for him to make that kind of decision. It was not a flash in the pan. He thought about it.
Now the battle is between two candidates, Dr. Samura Kamara and Julius Madak. And the people of Sierra Leone expected these two parties, your party and the SLPP, to tell them why they think, for instance, why does the APC think Samura Kamara, doctor, is the preferred choice? Is the one you think should be the next president of Sierra Leone? That's the answer Sierra Leoneans are looking forward to getting.
Well, thank you very much. That is the question, especially why I came to the studio. And I'll use this opportunity to address my fellow Sierra Leoneans and all of the other aspirants, the participants, the voters, and all parties. The golden grail here is Sierra Leone. It's the leadership of Sierra Leone. We have two people, not two parties. We have two individuals today who are facing us to make a decision. The parties and elections, they're closed. They finished on the 7th of March. The parties and elections are those that elect members of parliament who represent every party in parliament. We've finished with that. The APC has won that with 68 seats and we might fall on 70, 72. We still have 7 pending from our strong areas. So that is finished. The partisan elections finished. With the councillors' elections, the local government is finished. Now what we have is choosing a chief executive officer for Sierra Leone. A supreme executive who will take the decisions that will take us out of war, that will take us out of hunger, that will take us to developmental path. We need a manager who can run the enterprise called Sierra Leone. And we need somebody with experience. And I know that Dr. Samura Kamara has that experience. He is called Dr. Samura Kamara, PhD, University of North Wales in Bangor, 1986, December, to be precise. And he has worked for the Bank of Sierra Leone. He has also worked for the IMF, the Commonwealth, and the World Bank. He's had a lot of financial, developmental experience, and he's been Minister of Finance in Sierra Leone. He has been the working machine, the nerve center of all of the developments of the agenda for change and the agenda for prosperity when he was Minister of Finance, for which we are very happy that the Sierra Leone people are happy to return the APC.
For which your opponents say he presided over an economy that they said was crumbled.
How could he?
An economy that crashed.
He was Minister of Finance in 2011. When the World Bank, the IMF and the IFC all agreed that Sierra Leone is the fastest growing nation on earth, with 35% growth rate. He himself, as the Minister of Finance, was shocked. He said, I'm shocked at these figures, Alpha. Please don't use 35%. I said, why? I said, because I've never seen a figure that huge. I said, but we did not manufacture that. It is the scoring, the examining bodies that did that. They gave us 35%, I'm going to use it. They said, oh, please don't do that. I say, okay, fine, I'll help you. I'll remove 15%. I'll say it's 20%. And that year, China, which came second, was only 15%. So I said, okay, we take 20%. We were still top. And in 2013, we were also second to Macau, which was just an island city-state. So in effect, when you talk about nations, we were first also in 2013. In 2014, we were rising. And then Ebola came to stop us in our tracks. Those are the kind of things that God does to bring reality checks to people. Send these things to you so that you look back and say, there was a God. Then we go back and start praying. And then we overcame that because Dr. Ernest Bai Koroma took on the mantle of the Field Marshal of Sierra Leone and went out to confront this invasion from unknown beings, I would call them extraterrestrials, that came to attack us, the like of which was never seen in this world. And at the end of the day, we were able to mobilize the people, mobilize the chiefs, mobilize the youth, mobilize even the political parties. Even the retired Brigadier Julius Marabio waded in to the fight and worked with us. And we were able to overcome that disease. And then we started, we're rising again, fighting to come out of the hole onto the level. We have to bring in the austerity measures so that we can get out of the hole. We brought austerity measures on the Friday of 11th of August, when the Minister of Finance says that the figures are showing that we have now cleared the hurdle. We are back on level ground. We're going to start growing the economy again on the Sunday, the 13th of August. The mudslide was visited upon us again. Another reversal, another reality check from his God Almighty. We stopped again, and we're fighting that. And then the elections are on us. So for me, Dr. Samura Kamara, who was then Minister of Foreign Affairs, has shown that he has the experience. And he has also told us in his book what we call the manifesto of the APC. It's called Governing for the Grassroots. For me, this is analogous to the book of prophecies of Prophet Isaiah, where everything is going to be good. And that is the summary of the prophecies, which I will show you. Here he says that, in fact, one of the first things he will do will ensure that every cabinet position that he appoints, 30% of that will be women, and that youth will be carried along, and that he was going to turn the country into an information society, and is going to ensure that farmers and the weak market women are all catered for. This is a book that everybody should read about. And that's what we're doing. We are talking about the two people who are there, who have applied for the job to become general managers of Sierra Leone. They are not the politicians anymore. The politicians have gone to parliament.
Okay.
They've gone to the councils.
Okay.
Now the two men standing there are technocrats who are going to run the country. And I believe that Dr. Samura Kamara is a better technocrat that is more able to run this country than the opponent, Brigadier Julius Maada Bio. So I believe the people of Sierra Leone will make the right choice and pass on the interview and give Dr. Samura Kamara the job.
Okay, he's Alaji Dr. Alpha Kano. The program is Podium, coming to you. Ibrahim, I didn't ask you that question because Alpha Kano was not here.
Okay,
so
thank you.
I wanted to be fair. Now, the election is between two candidates. You had Alaji Alpha Kano. He gave the CV of Dr. Samura Kamara, someone who has worked for this country for more than 30 years. He has been around Sierra Leone's economy. He served all the governments, NPRC, the SLPP, and the APC. So some people say he is a technocrat. What can you say about your own candidate, Julius Maada Bio?
Thank you very much. To start with, Dr. Samura Kamara, even his PhD is being contested. That's just one thing to start with. Let me just clarify some few points.
He has cleared that.
Well, I'm coming. He has cleared that, but it's yet the clarity of it is yet to come to the public. But let me just leave that for now. Retired Brigadier Julius Maada Bio is a true patriot. He has supervised Dr. Samura Kamara under the NPRC, and Dr. Samura Kamara was at his best, or can only be at his best when he's being supervised. I mean, that was very clear during the presidential debate. So, and retired Brigadier Julius Maada Bio was the first person.
So you are quoting the words of Julius Bio now?
Of course, you heard him right. So
No,
just allow me to run through, please. Retired Brigadier Julius Maada Bio is a true patriot who has served this country, not in any lip service way. He fought for this country. He was a soldier. He enrolled as a soldier in the army, fought for this country, and served this country diligently. If we are talking about democracy, talking about peace, you can never talk about democracy or peace without mentioning the name retired Brigadier Julius Maada Bio, because as a matter of fact, he initiated a democratic process. He initiated the peace process by bringing Podi Sanko from Ivory Coast to the table for them to have a peaceful settlement. I mean, the facts are there.
Mr. Samuel,
I'm coming. Let me
quick.
Can you allow me?
Did I hear you say initiate?
Say again?
Did I hear you say he initiated the peace process?
He initiated the peace process.
Because is it not his former boss, Captain Strasser, that initiated, and when Julius Bio came, he thought that he continued where Strasser left off?
Now, do you have facts to what you're saying? Have you had any proof to what you're saying?
Yes, I do.
Okay, thank you. Then just allow me to run through.
No, I'm asking you
No,
now.
just allow me to run through. What I'm saying things based on facts. That retired Brigadier Julius Maada Bio initiated the peace process. And he actually also laid the foundation for democracy, even though we have had the constitution, all the stuff. But he continued under the NPRC to say that they had agreed for people to contest elections, and anybody who think you want to participate in the elections, then you have to lead the mainstream governance, which I think augured well then, that actually ushered in a democratically elected government of the then President Ahmad Tijan Kaba. And we all saw it in this country. We are on the 28th of March in 1996, Brigadier Bio handed over power, the mantle of leadership, to President Alhaji Ahmed Tijan Kaba, and history is about to repeat itself again. On the 28th of March, come this year, I haven't voted on 27th, retired Brigadier Julius Maada Bio is going to become the next president. But let me just come to a few facts. Now, it's quite interesting to hear my uncle, Alhaji, actually saying that Dr. Samura Kamara is a technocrat who has worked for this country. It's quite interesting.
Isn't he?
I'm coming, yeah. Because Dr. Samura Kamara served as Minister of Finance. He served as bank governor under the APC. I'm just trying to lay some bases here to draw a nexus. He served as financial secretary under the SLPP, and the price, the exchange rate for the dollar then, under the SLPP as of 2007 was 2,900 to $1 when he was serving as financial secretary under the SLPP. Now, he's having served as Minister of Finance, having served as bank governor, having served as let me just leave the Foreign Affairs Ministry, but for having served as Minister of Finance, Bank Governor, the exchange rate as I speak now, the exchange rate is $1 is up to 7,800 news. Let me come again. When he was financial secretary under the SLPP in 2007 left a huge sum at the bank onto the tune of 524 or 520 billion news. Dr. Samuel Kamal was then financial secretary under the SLPP. Under the APC, having served as Minister of Finance, having served as Bank Governor, we've almost accrued up to 16 trillion news in debt. So, to say he's technocrat, to say he's the man actually fit to lead, I question that wholeheartedly. Because he has served in both governments, under the SLPP and under the APC. Under the SLPP as financial secretary when he was supervised. And under the APC when he's been supervising people. Because as Minister of Finance, he controls the government portfolio. So when he's supervising people, when he's advising the government on financial issues, on critical financial policies and matters, the exchange rate to $1 to $1 under the SLPP was 2,900 lims. And under the APC now is 7,800 lims. So now, they can talk about fastest growing economy, Ebola and stuff. Those are just things that...
So if I think you can do your supporters favor if you can show, like Alpha Kano did.
I'm coming.
He showed
I'm building the premise.
I'm building
my premise.
We don't have much time.
Yes.
You must know that.
Yeah,
so
but
I think
give
it
much
will be
time.
nice. No, I have given you time before.
Yeah, thank you. On this question.
So it will be nice if you can focus on why you sell your candidate now.
Let me sell my candidate now. Retired Brigadier Julius Mada BO served as military in this country. He served this country. He's a true patriot, a man who has actually laid his life on the line for this country. He fought hard for this country, both locally and internationally. He represented the national flag in Liberia and came back. They fought hard to put an end to nepotism, tribalism, and they actually had to, even the SLBC here, when he was serving as a then Minister for Information under the NPRC, he actually gave that kind of facelift to the SLBC, and this, which we are proud of today. He is the very first African military leader, or very first military leader, I stand to be correct, in the world that has handed over power to a civilian government. And he's also on record wherein he stood by his word. He's a man of his word.
Have you done that study to say he is the first military leader?
That's what I'm saying.
To hand over power?
So he's the first military leader. That's why I said I stand to be corrected in the world. But for Africa, he's the first military leader to hand over power to a civilian government. Now, even it's on record during the course of the peace or transition process, wherein the then Secretary of State for the United States, Nasi Kasibon, had this to say about retired Brigadier BO, that he has actually stood the test of time. He has initiated the peace process, and therefore history will look upon him. And today history is looking upon him. And for people out there, you only have, of all the quantum of reasons, you have one reason to vote for Brigadier BO. That one, he's a true patriot among every other reason. And two, he is coming to ensure that you who are selling on the streets, you who are in the village, who doesn't have opportunity to become educated, he has said, upon assuming power today, he's going to institute free education from primary 1 onto SS3. And he has also said he's going to revamp the economy, build relationship with the private sector, and also try to give a facelift to the sporting sector in this country.
So now, before I go for the text messages, maybe the viewers, they may want you to tell us about Brigadier Julius Madabio's post NPRC life.
Good.
The past 20 years.
He left, having handed over power. He first proceeded to France, where because he had wanted to learn French. I mean, during our previous conversation, he did tell us that during the course of the peace process, he realized that for one to be bilingual, especially if you can speak French and English fluently, I mean, it gives you an undue advantage. So he went to France, he studied French, and also did a diploma in public administration. And from there, he proceeded to the United States, where he did his first and second degrees and graduated with cum laude, what we call here first class in Sierra Leone. So, having lived in the United States, he came back to Sierra Leone and started a small business. He actually started the tropical farms, because he loved farming then while growing up. And then he started the business in Kenema, wherein he gave the opportunity for the younger people to be employed. He did a lot of employment in the eastern part of the country. And he also added value to the cocoa and to the cacao and coffee farmers, because he was one of the very first cacao or coffee traders to actually harmonize the pricing system, wherein if you go to the interior, to the inner places where the cacaos are being reared, you pay the same price as the one who will just stay in town and buy. So he actually helped in harmonizing that, and he started exporting the cacao and the coffee. Quite apart from that, he also did, Brigadier Bio is one of the few Sierra Leoneans that have a qualification in diamond evaluation. He has also a certificate. He's a certified diamond evaluator. Okay. And again, he came into politics. So politics haven't helped the SLPP in the 2007 elections. He now thought it fit to contest, and he contested, and with all what happened, well, he had 38 or 37.7%, and then later left for the UK to continue his PhD. And Brigadier Bio is just 2 chapters away from completing his PhD.
Okay, well, let's go for text messages. This first one says, the problem with SLP, they don't practice what they preach. They are wooled in sheep clothing. Sano, keep on having false hope. Come March 27, you will surely lose this election. Sano, Kekewa will never support SLP after you molested his family and supporters. Ibrahim, your statements are not accurate at all. Sam Sumana was sacked, but he was never insulted and abused publicly, and all these were done against Yunkela. C4C and NGC will never join the SWP, trust me. And on says, I want Samuel to win the next elections. SWP is just giving false hope to their supporters. Candace's reference to change is an expression of his internal quest for change. Sano, you are not saying the fact. Majority of NGC supporters are APC. The executive of NGC is made up of the SLPP. Sano, please focus on policies and not blame game, and it will not help Sierra Leone. Trust me, Sano, the runoff election is for APC. We are going back to our roots. This one says APC is the best government and Samoa Kamara is going to rule this country. This one says APC and SLPP are two evils, but which is the lesser evil is SLPP. This one says APC will surely win in Cambia and Kono. Trust me, SLPP will not infiltrate those 3 states anymore. This one says Sano and his SLPP allies still sound tribalism and sending hate speeches. Stop pointing fingers and let's find a way out. Mr. Sano, have you been listening to the audios by the PRO Lima? They are very insightful and tribalistic. What did retired brigadier went to do in Accra, Ghana? This one says, what is wrong for President Nkrumah to invite the NEC boss to find solutions to the too many irregularities in the electoral process? Please, President Nkrumah is a statesman. Seriously speaking, the SLP will surely win this election. APC, your time is up. Even if you transport the whole MRU to Sierra Leone, you won't this one off. If one says Alhaji Alpha Kanu, we the youths will vote Madabio massively because we believe in him. Alhaji Alpha Kanu, you had Ibrahim also telling the people of Sierra Leone, reading the CV of his own candidates. Someone who served the NPRC, someone who initiated the peace process, someone who, well, according to him, Brigadier Bio is the first military person to hand over power to a civilian government. Brigadier Bio is a patriot, so based on all that, he thinks the people of Sierra Leone should give Brigadier Bio that opportunity to serve as president of Sierra Leone.
Yes, it is true that retired Brigadier Julius Madabio initiated the peace process. I know that. Because I heard on the radio the day that Captain Strasser was overthrown, Fode Sanko, whom we all had thought was a phantom, that he didn't exist up to that point. A lot of us never knew or believed there was a man called Fode Sanko. He came on the radio and said that now we are ceasing hostilities. There will be no more ambushes of vehicles going up country. They are free to ply the routes up and down. And then it was BBC said something white. He said, are you suggesting that you talk peace? I said, yes. He said, and how will they see you? He said, oh no, they know where we are. They know where we are. We're just here behind the mountains. And a few days later, Brigadier Julius Madabio on SLBC radio, live, spoke to a man called Fodisanko, who we understand was in the bushes, the forest in Ivory Coast, on radio, two-way radio. And Fodisanko said, yes, we're ready to see you. At that time, the APC had been in power. President J.S. Momoa had just launched the 1991 Constitution for the elections in 1992. I was going to be a member of Parliament then for Central 1. And then the coup came in 1992. Democracy was stifled. And then everything went haywire. So we were then in power. How could we have started a war against ourselves? We tried all we could. I had my aeroplane. I flew the then acting vice president, Mr. Joseph Bandabla Dauda, with then foreign minister, Honorable Raman. We flew to the Côte d'Ivoire to speak to the late President Houphouët-Boigny, because it was believed that he knew Fodisanko, and President Momoa had sent this team to go and talk to him to see if he could ask him to slow down and then come out to the open. And President Houphouët-Boigny told us point blank that he didn't know him. He said, no, I don't know him. He said, but my problem is, all of the presidents who have been in Sierra Leone and leaders, he said, Samilton Magai, I know him. I know Albert Magai. He said, I know Dr. Shakespeare. He said, but this young man called Momo, I've never seen him. He's never come to visit me. Tell him that he should come and visit the doyen of West Africa. He said that to us. So we left. And we came. We're no wiser than we went. We came back. Only for Dr. Brigadier Julius Madabio to be able to get this man on radio. He even had his radio frequency.
What are you insinuating?
What I'm saying is that he knew where he was. We did not. We did not know. The country did not know. And we thank him for that, to bring him out in the open.
So
but what I'm saying is that our people have a saying. You always light fire. You go sabi out for hot time. I'm not saying that they start more. Really. So for me, it is not something even I will go and make a boast about. There should have been no war in this country. We should have waited for the ballot box in 1992. We did not. So now what I have to say here is that my younger brother, my nephew here, Ibrahim Sano, he talked about inflation. He talked about the value of the leon, the dollar, 2,900, during when Dr. Samura Kamara was Financial Secretary. During that time, it was the SLPP government in 1996. Not so? Dr. Samura Kamara came here on the behest of the IMF and the World Bank to come and help stabilize the country. And at that time, the money we were chopping, it was not the money we worked. We were living out of the pocket of the international community. All of the money that was being sent here is not our money, so that was hollow economics. So that was a phantom, what you call a exchange rate. There was nothing solid to back that. It is money coming from overseas that propped up the leons. And because at that time, the SLPP was not involved in any developmental, they did not need money to pay contractors. So as such, there was no demand for the dollar, not much demand for the dollar. And as you know, in economics, it is supply and demand. The dollars were in huge supply from the international community, but we were not using it to pay people, so they were almost begging you to buy it, because people need bills. So the price of the dollar was low. But now that we are very busy working, and almost all of the contracts that we're doing, all of the development we're getting, the manufactured goods, the tire, the lights, and everything that we are using is coming from outside, we have to pay for it in dollars. It means there's a huge demand for dollars, which means the leons will suffer.
Well, it can also be explained that it also means that our economy is more of an import economy than an export.
No, I'm not talking about import. I'm talking about
Well,
the development.
that's one way you can have foreign exchange.
I'm talking about development.
But that's one way
We
you
did
can
not
have foreign
bring. We
exchange.
did not bring the goods to eat them. We brought the goods here to make the roads. We brought the goods here to build the country. You see it on the road. We do that to improve the country, and you have to pay for those things that you don't have. Otherwise, yes, SLPP can leave at a surplus of 524 billion because they did nothing. They didn't know what to do with it.
And then you have across
They
16
did not
trillion.
know. They did not know what to do with it. They left you no roads. They left you no electricity. They left you a poor country, the one that you will be sad and ashamed to talk about when you went. Even in Guinea next door. The Guinean chairman of the APC said that in Guinea, when they're there, they always refer to them as the Temne man. Whether you are Limba or Mende or Timni, they see you in Guinea, say, look, that Temne man. A derogatory thing they were using at the time. But say, but now that we have improved the roads, we have improved everything, say, when we walk in Guinea now, when they see us, they say, ah, voilà le Leone. That is the Sierra Leonean. So it means that the stature of Sierra Leone is rising by what we are doing.
That's me.
There is no point you keeping money in the bank. Your children are hungry. Well, let me finish, please. I do not interfere with you. It is not good. When you speak, I keep quiet.
It's okay.
Let's address the chair, please. When you have money you put in the bank and your children are dying in the house, the child mortality rate during the times that he was talking about was 267 children for every 1,000 would die before they are 5 years old. Women's mortality rate, maternal, was 867 out of every 100,000. They keep the money in the bank, they say, and allow the people to die. When Dr. Kumar came, he said that cannot happen. I will not let any woman die because she does not have the money to pay for a cesarean. I will not let a child die because the mother does not have money to pay for malaria drugs. I will make free health care for the children. I will make free health care for the women of childbearing age and also the pregnant ones. That's how he started it. And you know what the figures are now? Yes. Infant mortality rate is 120 out of 1,000. Maternal mortality is below 400. It's over 60% reduction. You're proud you keep money, 524 billion in a bank, and your people are dying? And the roof is leaking? And your children are walking on poor roads? No, that is not what we want to do. Now I understand what they call new direction. Let me finish, please. New direction. New direction means I throw a stone with a certain speed up in the air. It will go, and then it will reach a point, it will change direction and go right down to earth. That is the parabolic phenomenon of the SLPP's.
They said you went on a spending spree.
We went on a spending spree, and look at the country, it's beautiful. When I go on a spending spree, I wear nice clothes, look at me. Yes, you go on a spending spree to develop your people. You go on a spending spree because we know that we can back those. If we cannot credit worthy, nobody will give us credit. He talks about trillions of leons in debt, but we did not misuse it. We put it to the use of the people. America today is the largest debtor. They take these monies, even from their taxpayers, so that they can build the country. You are there to improve the lives of the people. In fact, that's what we don't understand in this country. Access to credit is most important to the development of the country and the people. We don't have that in Sierra Leone, that's why we suffer. When my uncle came from America to work here, the moment he got the job, they gave him money to buy a car. They didn't even give him money. The moment you get a job, Bentworth Finance will give a brand new car. Teachers, IB Cargo, when he was teaching, a teacher at UCC in Bo, he had his own Volkswagen, brand new, which he bought. I was talking the other day with one of our older people, Chief Somanoka Penn, when he was an ADO in Port Loko in 1970. Immigrated from university, he had a car because they gave him credit once you have a job. These things don't exist anymore. These are the things that Dr. Samura Kamara will reintroduce. When you see those people driving those big cars in America, they didn't buy them cash. They probably pay $200-300 deposit and they give it to them because they have a job.
Let's go for the final text
So
message.
this is
Alhaji Alpha Kanu. This one says, thank you for your explicit explanation, Dr. Alpha Kanu. Bill did not initiate democracy, so stop deceiving the people. And says the APC government has done extremely well in roads and electricity, but you failed in other sectors. APC is deceiving this society. You have outweighed your usefulness. There is need for change. This one says, Alhaji Alpha Kanu, do you trust the current NEC to conduct the runoff? The final one says the APC is always unwilling to hand over power, but trust me, SLPP will take over after March 27. We don't have much time now. Ibrahim Sano, Sunday campaigns are going to end and there will be no podium after today. Plus, I don't know watching you now. Tell them why you think they should vote for Brigadier Julius Maada.
It's very unfortunate you've not even given me time to respond to all what Alhaji Alpha Kanu has said.
Time has cut us.
Yeah, time has cut us, but that's why you should have actually managed the time during why he was, but you're giving all the time. Nonetheless, let me just use the few one allotted to me. Viewers out there, I mean, this is what we are saying. Even at SLBC has been manifested at this program, that indeed, in terms of equity distribution of the nation's wealth, it's far-fetched. And as a matter of fact, Alhaji Alpha Kanu has said SLPP never embarked on development or construction. But I just want to remind him to go back and read late President Ahmed Tijan Kaba's handing over a speech, and of which some of the things mentioned there are very evident, they are vivid. I mean, in terms of road, look at the Waterloo Toke Highway. Look at the Lumley Toke Highway. Look at the Maisiaka Bow Highway. Look at the Kenema Bow Highway. Look at the very first road that was constructed under President Kabas when that was actually rehabilitated. It's a very area, the road that leads to the gateway of the north, which is the Maisiaka Makeni Highway. So I'll leave you that to judge. Now, let me just leave you with this. Talking about developments, SLBC, what has changed about you? And he has served as Minister of Information. What has actually changed about SLBC or NATCOM or even the other mobile networks in this country? You come to SLBC, it's just the same old cameras or chairs you see around. What has actually changed? And then we talk about. I'm coming.
Sano, I take exception to that.
I'm coming. Ask me. Allow me.
No, withdraw that statement.
Withdraw about what?
Say
what has changed about SLBC?
Old cameras and old chairs, none.
What has changed about? I have been to your waiting room many times.
The best thing you can do, I've given an opportunity now. Talk to the people of Sierra Leone.
Listen,
why you think they should vote for your
talking
candidate?
To the people of Sierra Leone.
SLBC.
Yes, have I attacked SLBC?
Now talk to the people of Sierra Leone. Why you think they should vote for your party? That's what I want you to say.
It's kind of unfortunate. It's kind of unfortunate. I must say that to some extent you have not been really judicious to me here because you give me all the time. So
Sano,
thank you.
You can
now,
do justice if you
I can do justice
if
you can stop intercepting me, sir. Thank you very much. People of Sierra Leone out there, I'll let you know. Of course, you know nobody will fool you anymore. Nobody will misinform you anymore. We've had several odd incidents in this country, and it's now left you to judge. Ebola came to this country. Funds came for Ebola. We all know what happened to those funds. Even up to date, it's been rumored out there the way and manner Ebola came to this country, but that is left for God and people out there to judge. Secondly, we had the mudslide. Funds came for the mudslide. It's also left for you out there to judge. Only God knows where those funds were translated. But I'll tell you emphatically, because I've been, during the course of our campaign, I've been to Grafton, where some of the mudslide victims are currently living or residing. I mean, it's really unfortunate. For those who are affected with Ebola, those that survived from the scourge of Ebola, it's unfortunate that their lives have not returned to normalcy. Our economy, talking about debt, they use the monies to transform the city. You mentioned about spending spree. Wilkinson Road, they used $29 million just to construct a 4-kilometer road. I mean, it's really unfortunate. So, our people out there, all you have to do now, come Sunday, the SLPP will have its own final rally. Of course, we don't share money. We don't go around giving money or T-shirts. In fact, just now while I was coming here, somebody was saying, I'm not actually hearing about APC rally this time around. That shows I'm going to lose my 60,000 and one T-shirt. But we cannot give money. Sunday coincides with Palm Sunday, and we are coming out in our green and white regalia. And we just want to encourage all of you, as we come that day, we have to really refrain from any other thing but to sing religious songs, to say thanks and praises to the Lord, and for God to intervene. So as you come out, come with your palm, palm wrapped in your hands so that you can come. It's symbolic. It's just like Jesus Christ had the triumphant entry to Jerusalem. It's going to form the basis for retired Brigadier General Smada Bill to have a triumphant entry to State House come Tuesday 27th March. And like I've said earlier on, history is going to repeat itself.
Okay.
They said what you do actually lives after you. Brigadier retired General Smada Bill handed over power on the 28th of March 1996, and come 28th of March, he's also going to be declared the next president of this country.
Thank you very much. As you are rounding up, also tell the people of Sierra Leone why you think they should vote for your candidates.
I think that Samura Kamara is the better candidate of the two. Like I said, it is not a matter of APC versus SLPP anymore. It is the case of the two candidates who's better able to manage the affairs of Sierra Leone, who has the experience to be able to look at the economy of Sierra Leone, who has the experience to be able to look at the projects that are important to the welfare of the people, who has the experience to be able to intercede with us, with the international donor community, who has the potential for us to become a nation that is growing and growing until we reach what you call a state where we will not need donors anymore. Like I said before to you,
is that possible?
Dr. Samura Kamara, we do need that. We can do that here in this country. Like I tell you, we have our own book there. There's the book of prophecies. The promises, and this is what we call that, but on this that is here. The other people have a book also, but for us, I call it the Book of Lamentations, according to Prophet Jeremiah. Because the man has been head of state before. He didn't do it. Why do you think he'll be able to do it now? Dr. Samura Kamara has been a minister, and that's the highest he's been. But he wants to be head of state because he's been through the works. And I believe he can accede to the highest office in this country. And he's not changing direction. He is continuing on with the agenda for prosperity. Plus, I always try to be scientific in what I do. Unfortunately, the camera cannot pick it up. But this is a graph called y equals mx plus c. It's the equation of a straight line in mathematics. Y equals mx plus c. As you can see, it's a positive gradient. It's rising all the time when you have continuity. And the c there, of course, stands for the solid base of the APC, and the X for those who want to come. So it's Tolombo, it's a straight line. Now our people are talking about a new direction. A new direction means you change direction. And the only way I can represent that mathematically is by a parabola, if you can pick this up. A parabola is like when I throw my stone up with a high velocity, like Dr. Amat Jankaba left them with a high momentum. And then you put gravity on it all the time, reducing the speed, until it gets to a point when it stops going up at all because it wants to come down again. Okay. So they are now at that point, at 2018, the SLPP has reached zero velocity, and they are going to start coming down. That's the new direction. The new direction the takes can only be downwards as of a parabola. So I want you people to know that there's a difference between the politics and the management of the country. The politics we finished. We are already majority in parliament. And now it is the management of the country. It is now the management of the country. And you need a manager, somebody who has studied to become a manager, somebody who has worked as a manager, somebody who has plans to take a country forward. We will not go into this blindly. So Dr. Samura Kamara is your man on Tuesday. All Sierra Leoneans. Thank you very much.
Well, that's it. That's how we end this edition of the program Podium. My guests have been Ibrahim Sano. He's the outreach coordinator, SLPP campaign team, and Alaji Alpha Kanu, spokesman for the APC campaign team also. Well, on behalf of all of us and my producer Salmat, I've been your host asking you back. Till we join you again on Monday. Keep watching SLBC. Have a blessed and lovely weekend. God bless you. Goodbye.